Hello again everyone, and welcome back to Rudy's 1/6 World for what should be the last video of 2022. And first I want to say thank you for all of you who joined me on this journey as I launched the channel this year. Even with growing pains as I tried to figure out what I wanted to do with this and how to really go about doing some of the videos. So thanks again, and as we close up 2022, I figured this is the moment to do a look towards 2023 with figures that should tentatively be releasing next year, and I'll culminate the list with my top 5 that I'm looking forward to getting, notwithstanding delays or otherwise. Now these are not all my pre-orders to date, as there are some that Hot Toys has already listed for 2024, so hopefully if I'm still around next year doing these videos, those will make an appearance. So let's start with figures incoming in 2023 that I have 100% pre-ordered, and they're pretty much in oldest to newest order. And yes, you will notice the MCU takes up most of my corner, as that has been the focus of my collection for some time. So I'll try to get through these really quickly and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this won't be an excessively long video. First up, from WandaVision, Scarlet Witch. I'm guessing she has to be releasing soon, and it was a great looking figure from one of the best MCU shows to date. And I like that this is the version pre her going crazy in Multiverse of Madness. Next, Sam Wilson, Captain America. Figure just looks incredible, and while the show wasn't my favorite of the bunch, it still ranks highly, and I think they just did a great job with this suit. Next two are from Shang-Chi, and first is Wenwu, who I think for me has to go down as one of the better villains we've seen in the MCU, and the ring effects that come with the figure should make this visually impactful. And of course I had to order Shang-Chi himself. Both these figures have some of the best likenesses I've seen, and I think when posed together they're really gonna pop. And of course this has to be one of the best Phase 4 MCU movies. Next up, Carnage, and I went with the standard version. Don't really need the bust or the alternate Venom sculpt, just wanted Carnage. I'll be honest, movie was fun, but nothing that I want to revisit. Definitely not top tier, but Carnage in the comics was one of my favorite villains along with Venom, so to be able to add him to a villain shelf with the MCU Spideys, I think is just a dream come true for someone like me. And I think the design looks incredible. He's definitely going to be a standout release. Next up from the Loki Disney Plus show is Sylvie. Without a doubt, one of the best sculpts I've seen and one of the more interesting new characters in the MCU. So easy decision to pick her up. And of course, I also ordered the TVA version Loki. When I saw the promo pics, I think he's without a doubt the best sculpt Loki that we've gotten. And visually, he looks very different from the armored versions from the Thor movies and the Avengers releases. So nice to have a different version of him. Then we have Yelena from the Black Widow solo movie, and first of all, great character addition in the MCU, and I think she was a highlight of the Hawkeye show. And the figure looks great, and it's all about the sculpt. This is only going to be the first version we get of her, I'm sure, but I couldn't pass on it. And speaking of couldn't pass, there is the Spider-Man integrated suit from No Way Home. And I am getting the deluxe version because that diorama base looks amazing. And to have this version of Spidey displayed with every other figure from No Way Home, I just couldn't pass on that opportunity. And the suit looks different enough from previous releases, so I don't feel like I'm doubling up on releases. Next, from the Eternals, Athena. Now I know this movie is divisive to say the least, but I did find myself enjoying it, although curious how the other MCU properties seem to have ignored the events around this movie, or the massive Eternal in the middle of the ocean. But I thought Athena was a great character played by an iconic person, and I like the look of the figure, so she'll be heading my way in 2023. And going back to No Way Home, yes, I am getting the deluxe Green Goblin before he modifies his suit. I know ThreeZero made one, but I think the glider on this one is way better than anything. And that's the thing. Third party for me just fills gaps. If I have an opportunity to get a fully licensed version of the figure, I'm going to go that way 100%. So I think he's going to look incredible. And also from No Way Home, Dr. Octopus. Again, just can't pass on a classic villain. And I did get the deluxe because I like the red on the arms with the Stark nanotech infusion. I'm curious to see the updated sculpt that Hot Toys promised. I think that's the one thing holding this figure back, but besides that, he looks incredible. And I think his robotic arms are going to look and feel much better than the Toys Arrow one, particularly the re-release, which was plagued with issues. Next one takes us away from the MCU and back to a classic movie, and that is the DeLorean from Back to the Future 2. If you grew up with those movies, these were for me a huge part of my entertainment, and they were great movies. I unfortunately had to pass on the original DeLorean. No way was I going to pass on this one. Next figure is also a deviation from the MCU, and it's the only DC figure on the list, and that is the deluxe Batman from The Batman. I love the movie, and it stands alone from the DCUU or whatever fiasco is going on with DC right now, and I just wanted a version of him. And I know InArt is making him too, but when you see the list I have of pre-orders going for 2023, you can see that budget is important, so I think the Hot Toys one looked incredible, and I'll stick with that one. Then a surprise figure that's also from the Eternals, and I didn't expect at all, but Gilgamesh. I know he was released because the actor's popular in China, but I also think he pairs well with Thena. And again, different MCU character, although the one regret is no Icarus or Cersei coming in, since I feel like they were the protagonists. It's a shame they're not coming. But I'll be happy to add this figure to the collection, and he is on waitlist on Sideshow, so I'm guessing he's going to be a low batch figure. Next one is the classic Loki from the Disney Plus show, and what a great moment for that character. And to get that classic look outfit, this figure just looks amazing, and he was so key during the show. I had originally ordered the So-So version, but once Hot Toys announced theirs, I canceled and went with the licensed. I think the Hot Toys version looks better, and it's another one that's on a wait list, so it looks like a more limited batch. That brings us to Moon Knight from Hot Toys, and first of all, I love the show, ranks highly on the Disney Plus releases, and I think he looks incredible, so I think he's going to be another standout. And that brings us to Kate Bishop from the Hawkeye show. I think she looks great. Loved her character on the show, and in particular her interactions with Yelena. So I'm hoping to see more of that, and I like the show. Again, I like the street level feel of it, so really happy to have her on order. And she's another waitlist figure on Sideshow, so smaller batch probably. And I will say she's straddling Q4 2023 and Q1 2024, so I have a feeling some of the next figures on the list from Hot Toys are going to be pushed, but we'll see. So on that list, also waitlisted, Electro from No Way Home, and visually just looks fantastic. I love the yellow lightning effects, giving us something a little more comic accurate, and the look of the figure is just incredible. So another great MCU villain addition. And also transitioning from hero to villain, the second Scarlet Witch on the list is the deluxe version from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I do think this movie was a victim to its title and people's expectations, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought having Wanda as the villain was a great move. So the deluxe just looked amazing with the magical effects, and also I think it's going to pair nicely with the other versions of Wanda, showing her transition from hero to villain role, or technically she started as a villain, so back to that villain role. Next, also from the Doctor Strange sequel, is Dead Strange. This one is just a completely unique and out there figure, and with the cloak with all the spirits, it's just going to stand out. I don't think there's any figure like him in the MCU collection so far, so just great detail and great shelf presence. And continuing on with the horror feel, Morbius. Now, I know, I watched the movie, I think the hate is a little undeserved, or a little extreme. It's not the greatest comic book movie ever. Totally agree with that, but I don't think it was the worst at all. So having said that, from a design point of view and a figure point of view, I think the vampire version of Morbius looks great. And as a Spidey villain, when are we ever going to get a Morbius? So he was an instant pre-order for me just to get that villain shelf maxed out. And he's also on waitlist, so I'm sure he's an extremely limited batch. To be honest, I might be one of the only few people dumb enough to pre-order this figure. Next up, Mighty Thor, aka Jane Foster, also on waitlist. I wasn't a huge fan of Thor Love and Thunder. Dare I say, I think I enjoyed Morbius more. I might just have horrible taste in movies though. But Jane Foster is another great Marvel character, and I couldn't pass on the opportunity of having her added to the shelf. I think the one thing I'm curious about is the unhelmeted sculpt they haven't showed yet. If anything, the recently announced Padme gives me hope that Hot Toys will get this one right. Following figure is also from No Way Home, and it is the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Deluxe version. And again, it's a remake of the Tobey Spider-Man with an incredible Sandman base. So just visually amazing and an opportunity to get that alternate Spider-Man. And next up is the only Star Wars pre-order on my list, and it's Reva from the Obi-Wan miniseries. I think I enjoyed that show much more than others, and I loved Reva as a character. Much more selective with Star Wars figures, as you can tell by this pre-order list. With all the MCU figures, I would just not be able to go that deep into another big line like Star Wars is. I really do only have room for one big license, and that's Marvel. And the final Hot Toys figure on the pre-order list for 2023 is Valkyrie, also from Thor Love and Thunder. And just like with Jane, I think Valkyrie was a great character, and hate that she wasn't released from Thor Ragnarok, even though she was teased. But here, visually amazing and a great addition to go with the Thor line of figures. Now, switching over to Damtoys. From their Extreme Zone line, Agent Hugh LaFrog. Damtoys military is really top notch and can even put Hot Toys or some of the other companies to shame. So I'm picky with military figures because again, it's an endless proposition to keep up, but this one just visually stood out, so I made the decision to order. Next, from my favorite line, Derek, the Seven of Diamonds from Damtoys' Gangster's Kingdom line. And it's based on Jean-Claude Van Damme as he appeared in The Expendables 2. So I mean, it's JCVD, so what a great figure to add to the line, and it's got some great accessories, so I'm really excited for him. And also from Damtoys and that Gangster's Kingdom line, the recently announced Six of Hearts Augustine, based on Jason Momoa. Not as loaded a release, but all the figures from the Gangster's Kingdom line really do stand out and add to that. And add to that he comes with a hyena. I think he'll have really good shelf presence. Now, switching gears to X06 from their ongoing Star Trek lines, we have Commander Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager and also 7 of 9 from Voyager. Both figures that I need to flesh out that command crew from the line, which is scheduled to be completed in 2023. And also from X06, from the Next Generation, Locutus of Borg, who just looks impressive, and if you're a Star Trek fan, is such an iconic character. It was another easy pickup. Now from ThreeZero Stranger Things line, I still have Lucas Sinclair on order, and he should be shipping soon. Plus, he is on waitlist now at Sideshow and sold out on ThreeZero's site. Only question is, what other characters is ThreeZero going to launch? Now, moving into third-party territory, and I honestly don't have much, but kicking things off with So-So's Anna Marie figure. Just as a fan of the comic versions of the X-Men and the X-Men cartoon, it was a figure I couldn't pass on. I know the sculpt has got mixed reviews, but I think she's going to look amazing, and I had to order. Also, to fill in some gaps in the MCU collection, there's a third-party Sorcerer Supreme, and with how important Wong has become, I definitely wanted a version of his character. Just think this one is a missed opportunity from Hot Toys at this point. Also filling that gap, the Gravel, who's a version of Korg from Thor Love and Thunder, and I'm picking him up more because of his role in Ragnarok and Endgame. I think he's a fun character, although after my experiences with the Cull Obsidian, I'm keeping my expectations low for this one. And last MCU pickup, and this was a figure I ordered before Hot Toys announced their Valkyrie, but it's the third-party Valkyrie from Avengers Endgame. Not the best sculpt, but I like the Valkyrie suit, and that's really what prompted me to pick her up. And because she's going to be distinctive from what Hot Toys is giving us, I kept the order. And finally, from the good, the bad, and the ugly, I have the trio of gunslingers on order, including Blondie, Angel Eyes, and Tuco. And those just look great, and they're from an amazing movie, so really happy to be getting that trio. Next, I want to look at figures I want to try to pick up, but I haven't ordered yet. And we'll just rapid fire these, but from Back to the Future 3, both Marty and Doc Brown. From the Loki series, President Loki, who has a great sculpt. From the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange. I already have 2 versions of Doctor Strange, so I'm not in a rush to get this one. Also up from the Book of Boba Fett, Cad Bane, who just looked great even if his arc in the show wasn't the best. Next up from Thor Love and Thunder, the new version of Thor, and I'm looking at the deluxe for the helmet. Beyond that though, it's again another Thor, so not in a rush, as I have a ton already in the collection. Next up from No Way Home, the Amazing Spider-Man with that amazing lizard base, and this one is on this list just because it's not available for pre-order yet. I'll pre-order as soon as I get the chance, just need Hot Toys and Sideshow to sort out whatever licensing issue is happening here. And from Star Wars again, and the Obi-Wan show, the Grand Inquisitor, just like the look of the character and that lightsaber, and I think he'll pair well with Reva. And also from the same show, Obi-Wan himself. I've wanted an Obi-Wan, although the sculpt is giving me a little pause, but it looks decent enough. And now the final potential pickup is Black Adam, who is a Q4 2023, but might get pushed to 2024. And now, I wasn't crazy about the movie, but the figure looks amazing, and with the other Snyderverse versions of the characters I have in my collection, I think he would fit in remarkably well. So with the exception of the Amazing Spider-Man, I think most of these figures I'm holding off on, just because I do think even in this day of items going on waitlist and more limited batches, I think they're going to sit around for a while. And if I'm patient, I can get a good deal on them. I will keep an eye out, of course, in case any are listed as low stock, but I don't think I need to rush for these just yet. And to close, let's do a quick countdown with figures I'm most looking forward to, of the ones I have on pre-order. Starting with number 5 from Damtoys, the Six of Heart Augustine. I love this line, so anytime there's a release from it, it's gonna move to the top of the list. Number 4 from Present Toys, and again, this is anticipating no delays, would be the trio from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I know I'm cheating a little bit since it's technically 3 figures, but they just belong together, without question. So having these from such a classic, iconic Western, it's just going to look incredible, and they look like great figures too, so I'm really looking forward to that. Number 3 from Hot Toys, without a doubt, the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean. It's just an impressive looking piece, and I kicked myself over and over for not getting the original. But this one is going to be great, and you can display it in multiple versions. I just think a piece like this is going to just be a centerpiece, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity. In fact, I actually had to pick between this and the Hydra Stomper from What If, and this one won out. I just think it's a more iconic vehicle. And I think it's going to ultimately become one of the best pieces of my collection. Number 2 from Damtoys, the 7 of Diamonds Derek. I think of the pre-order Gangster's Kingdom figures I have, he is the highlight with that great JCVD sculpt and the accessories. He's just going to be another great addition to that line. And the top figure I'm most looking forward to coming in at number 1 from Hot Toys, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, our new Captain America, Sam Wilson. I just think visually he looks stunning. I think with the wings fully deployed and that shield, how can he not stand out? And the color palette on the uniform, it's a great recreation, not just of what we saw on screen, but of the comic version of his suit. So I just think it's going to be, without a doubt, visually one of the best pieces to come out, and I think that's what makes him move to the top of the list. So that was a quick look, I think, at what's in store for us in 2023. And in particular for me from a collecting point of view. And what you might be able to expect from the channel. And look, I'm sure the list is going to go through some changes, mainly additions, and the biggest culprit for that is going to be, without a doubt, X06. They have very short pre-order to production windows, as well as instant purchase releases. So I'm anticipating X06 to be the huge wild card here regarding additional figures to pick up. As for Hot Toys, I think it's pretty much it. Their new pre-orders have all listed 2024 as release dates. So I think all their pre-order announcements going forward, maybe a few exceptions, are going to start taking us into that 2024 and beyond window. Case in point, they just teased figures from Avatar: The Way of Water. No way those get released in 2023. So I guess I'll start building my list for what's coming in 2024 as well. And as for InArt, I think they showed with the Joker release that they're capable of some amazing things, but for 2023, I don't think they're a player for me. Price point wise, you can just see with my list here that I don't have the budget to slide in a big price figure like the ones they're releasing. You know, $1,000 kills a bunch of pre-orders for me. And more importantly, I'm not that interested in the licenses they have right now. And that's not their fault. I just don't see myself picking up many DC figures at this point. For example, they even mentioned Mira. Like, really? I don't think I would ever pay premium InArt prices for Mira. The only 2 licenses they've mentioned that I'm interested in are Dune and Harry Potter, but they haven't revealed anything yet on those. So I have to imagine those might be players for 2024. I'll definitely keep an eye on them, but I'm still thinking for 2023 they'll be staying off my list. So that's it. That is us looking forward to 6-scale figure collecting in 2023. And again, thank you for watching with me, and I am wishing all of you a happy new year, filled with positive things. And from a collecting perspective, hope we have another fun year ahead. So one more time, thanks for watching and joining me on this journey. And if you are enjoying the content and looking forward to some more reviews and breaking news videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll touch base on the next video in the new year.